On that day in May, when our daughter was born, I held her in my arms and memorized every detail. Leanne was beautiful, perfect in every way, except one. She was stillborn. Her death came as a complete shock. I had a wonderful pregnancy, and everyone is eagerly awaiting her arrival, especially our 4-year-old son, John. But 4 days before my due date, I noticed something was wrong. The baby wasn't moving. When my supportive husband and I saw how perfect she was at birth, how much she looked like our son, we both felt as though our world had come to an end. As I held my baby, I looked up at the nurse and made a vow. Something good will come out of this. I don't know how or when, but I will not let this be the final moment of her life. For months after the funeral, it was difficult to be in public. Every time I saw a baby or a little girl, my heart broke. I altered my lifestyle to avoid pain. I learned to shop at the all-night grocery store, where there were no young mothers or babies at 11 p.m. The following spring, I learned our church needed volunteers for a special program called Respite. The name of the program came from its mission. Once a week, during the school year, volunteers went to the homes of young mothers and gave them a respite from childcare. Volunteers took the children to our church, played with them, sang with them, gave them a snack, and then returned the children to their homes 3 hours later. During their break, young mothers could rest, run errands in town, clean house, or just enjoy a few child-free moments. These children lived in extreme poverty. Sometimes they lived in homes where abuse had been reported or was suspected. Yet for a few hours each week, they could play in a safe, warm environment surrounded by loving volunteers. Besides needing new volunteers, the Respite program also needed someone to serve as director. I wanted to help, but I couldn't bring myself to work with the children directly, so I agreed to serve as the director. Most of my time was spent planning activities, coordinating volunteers, and keeping our classroom bright and cheerful. Usually the only contact I had with the children was during our rides to and from the church, but these wonderful kids found a way into my heart. As the months went by, I found myself spending more and more time with them in the classroom. One day I noticed a 3-year-old boy who was always hungry, so I decided to make some pancakes for the children. Another time we baked chocolate chip cookies. A 4-year-old girl spilled some flour, and I watched her body brace for the beating she was conditioned to expect from such a mistake. I took her in my arms, and with a smile on my face, quickly and quietly cleaned up the small mess. When the cookies came out of the oven, I gave one to each child. That same little girl held the cookie as if it were gold. She had never had a freshly baked cookie before. When I agreed to serve as the Respite director, I thought I had something to give each of these children, but I did not realize how much I would get in return. I gave them love, and they helped my heart to heal. They helped my love for Leanne to live on. As grieving parents, we have a choice. We can always mourn the loss of our own child, but somewhere out there is a little child who can return our love. Find that child.